at Mission Critical and founder of Aligned Equity. He's the matchmaker behind Nearest Plus and works across Nearest and Dayspring Care to bring together the right people, strategy, and partnerships to unlock real growth in aged care. He's also co-founder of Steward, a community connection platform focused on helping people connect, belong, and improve their well-being, all in on the mission to make aged care better. Our special guest for today is the Quality and Governance Executive Manager at Elder Bloom Community Care Centres. With a Master's in Clinical Nursing and a formidable reputation across the aged care and NDIS sector, she is an absolute powerhouse when it comes to regulatory compliance and risk management. Known throughout the WA sector as a turnaround expert, she thrives in high-stakes environments, whether she is overturning unmet compliance outcomes within months or successfully guiding massive care centres through unannounced audits or rebuilding governance systems from the ground up. She has built an incredible career dedicated to elevating organisational standards and safeguarding operational integrity. Her exceptional impact has been consistently recognised with multiple industry awards, including Outstanding Leadership and Outstanding Performance honours. A true champion of quality who is actively driving forward-thinking initiatives, she ensures that both operational excellence and resident dignity remain the top priority. Ladies and gentlemen, please raise the roof for Preetha Thamilaraset.
Yay!
And did I pronounce her name right?
Come on down.
Almost.
Almost. How do you pronounce her name?
Thamilaraset.
I was way off. I'm sorry.
There you go.
I'm American. I won't even try. We are the worst. We're phonetics, spellers, pronunciators.
Every week I butcher someone's name, so you're one in a long list of butchered names.
I get it with data, you know.
Yeah, data and data. So you're the first guest. You're the first quality dedicated quality guest, and we've never had someone. I don't even think I've had someone on the podcast. But quality is an area that myself and a lot of people in aged care don't know too much about.
The hot seat, most important role right now, Anne.
Yeah, so someone described it to me as you guys are the architects of the framework, and then the on the floor staff are the builders or the execute. How would you describe quality? I guess we want to learn about you, your role. We'll learn about Elder Bloom and learn more about quality. And Rob comes in with his questions and insights and numbers behind everything as well.
Yeah, I have an analogy for quality, and this is what I usually talk about. It's like driving a car. And we are the dashboard of the car. We'll let you know when something's not okay. So we'll give you the check engine lights or something's not okay. And it's just warning signs. So as the driver of the car, you look at the warning signs and we guide you on what are we going to do next so that you can still effectively keep driving down the road. And then when something's not right, are you stopping the car? Are we changing the drivers? Are we changing the car? So I think that's the analogy I use with quality, so people kind of get what we actually do in the role. Within aged care itself, I think with all the changes that's been happening and all the challenges with the workforce, sometimes the lines can get blurred because we do step into the operational space to provide hands-on support or just guide the managers a little bit more on getting back on track so that they can keep driving the car effectively. So that's where I see my role or see the quality role right now in the aged care industry as we navigate all the challenges with the new Act, strength and standards, and everything around aged care regulation. In my I've been specialized in quality for grew up in the aged care industry. I started off as an assistant in nursing when I was studying nursing. So I have almost seen that, grown up in the industry and seen how it works from the ground level up. So I feel that in my role as quality, I've been able to make meaningful changes, especially when you have that lived experience of doing the various roles.
So if you're a nurse looking to, you've graduated as a nurse and you've had a few years of experience and you want to get into aged care, if they wanted to, because I think they've got an understanding of what a nurse on the floor looks like in a nursing home, what is the day-to-day? What does it look like if they chose to work in quality?
Yeah, I think to choose to work in quality, you first have to understand what the day-to-day of a registered nurse or a manager looks like. And after you have that understanding, a day-to-day of a quality manager really is around looking at the risks of each home, looking at what's happening in each home, the incidents, the data that are coming out of each home, and then connecting the dots. So around, definitely around what's happening with the residents, what are the complaints about, what's their feedback about, what incidents are they much involved in, what are the challenges that the managers are going through on a day-to-day basis, and also looking at data from a compliance perspective. How are we doing with our quality indicators? What's our complaints data telling us? What are our residents trying to tell us through these data? And joining them, and then also giving feedback and support to the team. So I look at it as a support, definitely a supportive role more than a regulatory role within the organization itself. I look at it as someone who the managers or the operations team can go to say, these are the flags that are happening. What do we do next? Or what's your advice?
And this is how limited my understanding is of the role. So when you say we collect data, I'm picturing someone with a clipboard walking through the facility, getting data in that way. Like, am I way off here? And also, I'm keen on Rob's thoughts on the type of data that, or what the things that. Oh, I had this question in my head.
And be kind, Preetha.
Well, yeah, is that how you collect it, or Rob, can you chime in here and save me?
or just observe.
It's a good. I mean, it's context. So it's important context for the listeners too, because I mean, that visualization is. But the role and the weight it carries, and I'll let Preetha talk, because I've got heaps of questions I want to unpack.
Here we go.
On that front. But maybe to your question at that point before we get into it. But I mean, like, this is what Preetha has to look at and see across her business, and she's looking at the supply of the rosters. What is a skill mix? These events are something that is very important today, called serious incident reports, that she has to report to government, and this is all self-reported, and it's very important though. But it's the triangulation of all this data that Preetha has to really be across, because what they're looking for in this new regulatory landscape is those sort of patterns and systemic clinical issues, not just these one-off things. And so when a complaint comes up about a resident complaining about their food being cold or served cold, or not getting enough food, and they may be dealt with as a once-off, but what the commission's really looking at is really the exploration of what happened to the actual event, or during that event. What was the skill mix on at the day? So for instance, when we had these events, who were the staff on? What was our coverage? Were we below? Because things that we know about, like such as the care minutes and targets, they're an average across an entire quarter. Now, every day is a different day in an aged care facility, which Preetha will talk to. But on events when they occur, and maybe we just were short staffed, and there was actually some pretty serious incidents, the commission wants to know, what are you doing about it, Preetha? What is your strategies? Is it workforce related? What's your workforce strategy? So she has to be Johnny on the spot and really speak to strategic, analytical, but just identifying the information patterns, that data is really tough for her. So I want to talk and unpack that, but that's just a little bit of a highlight of that side of it. But Preetha, take us back there. I guess how you got there makes a lot of sense to me, but I want to unpack it. So you started on the floor as an ACFI nurse and as a registered nurse.
Yeah, I started as an assistant in nursing while I was studying to be a nurse. So very new into the industry then, and also very hands-on. So I started off really working very closely with the residents, supporting them, listening to their stories, helping them with their day-to-day. And I was lucky enough to be able to get a role as a registered nurse in the same organization that I worked as an assistant in nursing. So to be able to look after the same group of residents as a registered nurse and start my career that way was a good way to step into the aged care industry in a professional role. So that was really a good journey to be on, and I think as a registered nurse in Australia in aged care, it's very challenging. You are the leader. You are responsible to make lots of decisions and held accountable as well. So taking that, I used that to my advantage and also grew in that space to be a senior registered nurse, support other nurses, and also just do a bit more specialization in the gerontology space as well. I loved it. It was very rewarding. It was very challenging as well. It was quite confronting too, as a young nurse, to start in a role and look after people who were at the end stages of their life, looking at palliative care, end of life care, and death. To work through how confronting it is, and also accept that that's part of aged care, and that's part of what a registered nurse in aged care needs to be able to work through. So I think that helped me grow as a person and as a professional as well. And after I did my master's, I did decide, okay, I'll step on, let's take up more management role, let's be a clinical nurse, do more of the management side of it. And that's when I surprised myself on how much I love quality. And I think when I went into that management clinical nurse space, I started to form that perspective of, okay, this is what data looks like. This is what the data actually means to me. And this is what the residents that I look after are saying, or this is what's happening in terms of they're falling a lot at this time of the day, or we are really having workforce issues at this particular shift. A workflow is not working during dinners. Everyone's in the dining room and residents in their rooms are falling. So I started to be able to look at this data in that level, and it made more sense to me and putting in place improvements. So I could see why I had to do certain things as well. So I feel like being asked to do something is different, but being able to see the data for yourself and then form the story and then make decisions for yourself on why I need to do something because this is what I want is the outcome was quite meaningful. So I think that's where quality started. Yeah, that's where it started as really deep diving into quality and looking at that. And so I did management roles for a few years, and then started to specialize in quality, where I did a bit more work in what quality in aged care looks like, doing specialty courses around quality management, how to assess the quality of an organization effectively, what do you look at, how do you then, after assessing, not just leaving it there, but how do we support the organization to improve the quality? Do people actually know what quality is? And I think to Anthony's point earlier, if you ask a nurse on the floor or a manager who's new to the industry, what do you think quality does? We get a lot of various answers in different in different organizations and even different services as well. Unfortunately, due to how heavily regulated our industry is, a lot of people are scared of us. They look at us as the cops. They're here to catch us
internally. Wow. Okay.
yeah, and in various organizations as well. So my take on it is, if that's how staff feel at quality, then something's not right with the system. Something's not okay. We have to work. We have to work to fix that. There is definitely a lot of reactive work going on in the organizations that I've worked with and in the industry itself. So that naturally makes people feel that way, and also the pressures around changes and the strength of that changes. So that pressure to meet that regulatory change and to be compliant.
It's immense.
It,
So
yeah,
Mitch, you're in a hot seat. You're in
it's brutal.
like she is in the hot seat, and we exist to help roles exactly what Preetha is carrying, and she carries a lot of weight, and that's I think it's the most important role in our industry right now, and it's also one that we need to continue to celebrate and help them lift up, because to be ahead of quality in today's operating land in this post reform, it's tough, and we'll want to unpack a lot about with that. So in that role there, this is making a lot more sense now to me in terms of your movements. There's a couple things I wanted to explore with you on that. Is that you you were an ACFI nurse as well prior to your sort of transitioning into more quality. I guess under the ACFI, which is the aged care funding instrument, and for the model, they were one of the most important roles back then, because they were the till. They made sure the revenue reflected the care and the resources the business needed to look after those residents. And if they didn't show up and the ACFI kind of machine started to slow down, then the financial viability of the organization slowed down. But the other important part, which is the bridge to the quality side I want to explore, is that ACFI coordinators, and this is one of my biggest concerns with the new reform, is that they were the custodians of quality information, because financially, the way the government audited groups is they would go through their evidence, their clinical notes on what supports that claim to government that the taxpayers are funding. And in that process, if they had validations, they could have hundreds of thousands of dollars clawed back off the organization. So they were always competing with that pressure. And then we're also having to report into, I guess, work streams or channels that, clinicians don't really go, which is finance and sort of those sort of areas. But what did being an ACFI nurse teach you that you still draw on today as a quality and governance lead?
The quality of information that we provide in our documentation, in our in what we do on a day-to-day basis. I think that experience as an ACFI nurse when I started in the industry also helped me from the quality side of things, where is this what the resident really needs? How accurate are we being in the care plans? And then can we actually deliver what's in the care plan for our resident as well? So it helped me to connect, is what we say we're doing, what are we doing? What are we actually doing? And then is that benefiting the resident?
Absolutely. That makes a lot of sense. And I can see how the brain now works within Preetha, that front side. So, because the passion, I've worked with a lot of those personas over the years in my career in aged care, which I'm just shy of 20 years now, still, but loving the industry every day more and more, and certainly watching how a lot of the significant transformation that's happening, and it's happening everywhere. And the vendors are transforming with our sector, all the suppliers, as well as the organizations, and what needs to happen in this post-reform world, which was all about improving the areas that Preetha looks after, which is that resident safety and really making aged care better. But I guess, yeah.
Sorry, Rob. Can you get both your thoughts on this? Because Preetha, your exposure, your journey into quality started pretty much April. Looking at your LinkedIn, April 2020. And if you're describing quality in terms of the dashboard on the car, what was the dashboard showing? What were the difference in the numbers during COVID, and also pre-New Aged Care Act, post Aged Care Act? Like, are there certain numbers that you look at more closely than others, or I guess could those quality metrics tell the story of what was happening during those times?
Yeah, I think during COVID, it did give us a lot of information around how residents were actually feeling, whether they were isolated, upset, in terms of their quality of how they were, how unwell, or in terms of outbreak management, how was different organization, different services managing that, and how was it effective? Even looking at workforce as well, how much did the workforce get impacted due to COVID? Did they get unwell often? How were the fatigue levels during COVID? How did they manage through almost the whole crisis? And A lot of it was also around it was a lot of things were new to the industry during those times in terms of management, and also the constant changes in, right, this is what we're doing for COVID management today, tomorrow it's going to be, next week is going to be a bit different, following week will be a bit different. So those kind of things really made the dashboard to me look like it's just changing all the time, but ultimately how are people feeling, how are their experience in this whole thing, and specifically our residents. Pre, post, at, I think that's still, I feel like we're still working towards the strength and standards in the new act is still in that implementation stages. For me, it's more around keeping the staff, keeping the staff and keeping everyone who's looking after the residents accountable, and also around how are we measuring the effectiveness of what we say we're doing, and if it's not good enough, what are we doing to make things even better for our residents? So keeping our residents at the center of it, and all around what are they saying to us, what giving them a voice, and then also when they're saying something to us, when the data set shows something, are we reacting to it? Are we responding to it, or are we not doing anything about it? So that's how I see the information at the moment. But going back to COVID, it was definitely a industry-wide learning experience as well. I think we had a lot to take back as a learning from that whole experience, and I would say we've been quite lucky in WA compared
Was
to
it
the
a
rest.
learning experience? Wow. There's so many things that have come out of COVID, and I can't believe it's 6 years ago. It's like post COVID. You're like, wait a second, where's my time go? Now, Preetha, I mean, there's that moment when many clinical careers where you stop being the person delivering the care and you start being that person assuring it. For you, when did that shift happen? And was it more of a promotion that pulled you that way, or was it a higher calling that you felt that you had to go into that to really make a bigger impact on the industry you're so passionate about?
It was creating the impact. I realized how things can be so systems driven, and so important to have the right system. And as a junior clinician, as a student nursing as well, I worked in different places where I was like, I feel like if this people working at the floor level had a voice and could actually say what they feel and how their day-to-day works like, you can that really informs the system, and you can really build better systems that works for the staff and then ultimately works for our residents as well. So I think that's what pulled me to it. It's like I kind of like knew where to go for to ask the right questions, and then use that information to inform the system rather than working on it in isolation. And also, I think also recognizing the impact that it can have, positive and negative as well. So a wrong system really affects everything down, and a right system really also helps, and also having that ability to recognize when a system's not okay and we need to change the system.
That's right. And you've also, I mean, you've got a lot of amazing brands within this sector, from large enterprise ones, and I guess for a lot of the other people and the listeners with regards to roles that you're in. When you're at Regis, you got the title as a manager quality improvement, and that's an ASX listed national provider. What does quality look like at the scale of a national operator versus the scale of a 4-site, 2-site community provider? And what's generally different, and what surprised you about each of them?
Quality is quality, I feel. Yeah, they're all essentially does similar things. Working in a smaller organization just helps to make changes more, you can just implement them sooner, so there are not a lot of steps to go through. And also when we're implementing them in a small organization, can implement them sooner because it's a smaller number of residents, and then measure the effectiveness of it quicker as well. So I feel in a small organization, being able to, when something's not okay, when an issue comes to me and we need to perhaps update a policy, for example, that can be done pretty quick. Working in larger organizations, we have to ensure that if we want to put in place a change, that we're going to be able to implement it across all the 50 homes or 60 homes that we have. So that will come with its own challenges. So I look at it that way. But at the same time as well, when you work in larger organizations, you've got more data, more people that we're looking after, so more information to make data-driven decision makings from. And in smaller organizations, you're limited that way as well. So pros and cons, but definitely from a quality perspective, I feel you've got a bigger voice in smaller organizations in a current role that I'm now.
What have you brought to Elder Bloom? You've gone from Regis now to Elder Bloom, and I guess also what have the challenges been? What are the positives as well, pros and cons?
Yeah. Going from a large organization to a small organization, resources is a challenge. And being able to you put various hats on when things need to get done. I look at that as both pro and cons, because you get even in a specialty role, you get to dip your toes in other things. So I think that's nice to be able to do in a smaller organization. And also just quality is a very special role, and sometimes you've got one person, you've got two people. So it's nice also in a larger organization, you tend to have more of the quality people. So different heads bring in different perspectives, and you can look at things differently. And in smaller organizations, you look at other resources, and you talk to other people, and look at other quality managers from other smaller organizations, and they are your go-to people where you look for, I suppose, think about something together, brainstorm something. So you still have the people, it's just looking at them at different places.
Yeah.
That's right.
And what have you, for those watching and... I think, Owen, I think your internet connection may be going in and out. While he figures that out, can you tell us...
I just got a quick question on the fact that so Preetha, you're also a certified lead auditor, so that really means you've also sat on the other side of the table, assessing organizations against the standards you're now upholding for the provider side. But what does an auditor actually see in the first 10 minutes of walking into that service, and tells you them, is this governance real or is it performative?
People get nervous. It gets slightly performative, and people are scared. And I think the first 10 minutes is a lot. It's about interacting with the people you first see and building that connection, and also explaining why you're there and what you're there to do as well. Being open, transparent, and saying things as it is. I think that really helps people settle, to say, if I have any issues, I'll come to you first. So that really puts your guard down. And the first few things around looking at what the home looks like, how does it feel in there? Are the people happy? Are the staff happy? Are the residents happy? What is the manager saying to you about the service? And then definitely we look at data. So some of the data we already walk in with having those information. Some of the data we are asking the manager or the service on what your data looks like. Could you present it to me sooner? So I think that's what the first few minutes look like, and that's what really explains on what the whole audit is going to look like. It's setting that line, and then saying, okay, from here we're going to be doing this, and this. Open communication and just ongoing conversation during the whole audit itself is really beneficial, both for the person getting audited and the auditor themselves as well. So as an auditor, we get the information that we need, and you're giving also the other person an opportunity to say what they need to say, and also get the information that they need to get to provide as well. It gets challenging because auditors are there to do what they need to do, and sometimes ask difficult questions and ask challenging questions. And also when observing, a lot of time goes into observing what's happening in the service as well. And every day is different. So it also depends on what day the auditor has walked in and what they're looking on that day. It's a snapshot.
It is, isn't it? which is, and you can't control that. You don't know what's going to happen on that moment. No matter what systems you have in place, it's aged care. I love it. You're also mental health. You've got mental health expertise as part of your professional background, and that's very increasingly relevant as if you think about the type of residents and the cohort that's presenting more and more, and also the cohort that is really within the hospital system seeking beds across the country are becoming more and presenting more with complex psychosocial needs. But how should aged care providers be thinking about that intersection of mental health and clinical governance under these new standards?
Yeah, I think all the residents with mental health, I think that's a specialty. Mental health issues, they're a specialty role in itself, and we underestimate that in an aged care industry, especially with our nurses and carers who are looking after the residents. We really are required to really support them and educate them a lot in that space so that we can provide better care for our residents. A lot of mental health, from my experience, I've seen that a lot of mental health issues with our residents get perhaps blurred with dementia. And I look at dementia and mental health as very different a very different diagnosis and very different interventions that we need to provide to look after them. So that's why I went into a little bit to specialize in that area, to be mainly being able to recognize the differences and then have that treatment options differently for our residents. We rely a lot on external specialists in that area as well. So some organizations do have internal specialists who can help. As a smaller provider, we do really tap onto the resources that we have, for example, with mental health and external mental health and gerontology, who can help our residents just work through the complexity of the issues. So I feel there's still a lot of work we can do in that space, and also just educate and grow our workforce moving forward.
Yeah, because I was going to ask, like, are we ready? Like, do you think we're ready for the older Australians coming through the door in the next 5 years? Or are we just trying to build yesterday's services today? Because this is a very different type of, epidemic, I guess you will, coming, coming, and the cohorts are very, it's a very different aged care than was 10 years ago, or when you started your career.
Yeah. I think we're still getting ready for that. I don't think we're ready yet. And definitely with all the newer workforce coming in as well, and the workforce challenges that we have, I think we are more obliged to just ensure that we can continue to provide that care for our residents and the quality care for our residents.
Preetha, I wanted to jump in. I'm really enjoying this interview. I really liked the fact that you were talking about the contrast between a larger organisation and an organisation like Elder Bloom, where you can be a little bit more responsive around. We're building a community of purpose here. We've got people that are aspiring to enter nursing and aged care, and you've got this passion for quality, which is just palpable. Can you give us some live practical examples of where you've been able to respond and be more nimble, where a larger organisation, it might have taken more time? Just to sort of give those practical examples of how you can do quality well. So those who are wanting to enter the quality industry, and this is a bit of a 101 heads up on how you might engage. And if I may, just to set the scene here, Ant, I'd like to introduce you to Manoj.
Hi, I'm Manoj. Yeah.
And Manoj is my very good friend and Uber driver.
Yeah.
And as we know, Ant has form for bringing Uber drivers into our show. So I had to answer the challenge. And Manoj would actually like to enter the aged care industry, and he's been listening to your interview.
Yes, I'm listening.
And you've been saying...
Yeah, I have completed my certificate 3 in individual support.
Yes.
Posted certification as well, and then I'm constantly looking for a role in the aged care industry. And since I don't have experience working in aged care, because I just got a certificate and I just finished my 120 hours of placement, I haven't got that much of call from the any providers. So I was thinking if I could, get opportunities.
So-
Yeah.
And you've got a passion for quality too,
Yes,
Manoj. We should add that in. So,
yeah.
Well, after listening to Preetha, we all do
someone
now.
like Manoj, live, they're wanting to learn all about quality and a bit of a 101 heads up on what that game plan could look like to enter the industry.
From
So,
Preetha or
yeah.
from me?
You go
Because
first.
yeah, please.
Yeah, for the freshers.
Well, we just thought, we don't want to be too predictable on all things aged care. We're all about, this is the open mic section, so we're very open right now.
What do you think, Preetha? How did he get in?
Yeah, so yeah.
What was the question? How?
So Preetha, just simply two questions. One was, you've got a passion for quality. What would be a heads up to those who want to enter your focus of quality? And then two, if you've got someone like Manoj who's just done his 120 hours, what would you advise to someone who is passionate to enter aged care? The doors haven't opened yet, but how does he set himself apart and get noticed?
Speak about your passion in the industry and what impact you would be bringing to the industry, and also find applying to roles and finding a place where you can be supported as you enter the industry in your first role as well. So you need to be able to have a first role that can help you settle into the aged care industry. It's quite it's a rewarding industry, but I always say that it's very important to get your first role right. It's your first step into the industry.
Yes, exactly.
And if quality is a passion, my take on it is to be good in quality, or to actually fulfill the role, we need to have some form of lived experience on how it actually feels like working on the floor, regardless of whether it's a carer role or a registered nurse role or a manager. Have that feeling of how it is like to work in that shoes, so that we can then talk to systems, processes, and put in place anything that will help the person, because we're providing a service to them.
Yeah.
So, Preetha, when Manoj is submitting a resume, what are you looking for?
Talking about, so if it's a first role in the industry, talking about what placements you did, what did you achieve in that placements, where the placements were they looking after residents who require a lot of support with dementia, for example, what were the complexities, and also around skills that you built while you were doing your placement. Did you learn a specific competency, dysphagia training, looking after residents with complex needs? Those kind of things as well. Behavior management strategies. So if you're looking after a resident who's got dementia, talk about your de-escalation techniques, what's worked, how do you build that rapport and connection with that resident that they would then ask for you to look after them the next day, or they're looking forward to you coming to work. So those kind of things would really have that personal touch in your experience.
Thank you, Preetha. And one for you, Rob. Manoj has studied 3 years of IT before he wanted to get into aged care. And now he's looking at a role where he could, and Preetha actually on this question, where he could combine his passion for IT and aged care. What would you suggest in that regard?
Oh, that's a good force of nature. As you heard earlier, Preetha has to work with a lot of data. To get data out requires a good mind, IT mind, understand where is all that data within these different ecosystems of the vendors across the organizations, and so that alignment is very important for providers, because I'm sure Preetha has a lot of time with her IT teams asking for specific data sets and fields, and saying, I'm trying to see this, but I need that, and these are things that having that background with the knowledge, and that is a big challenge, because I even have CFOs saying the Power BI sits with our IT team. Power BI team, or the people building Power BI and the IT, don't know, they're not business analysts. They're not Preetha. They don't have the knowledge of what Preetha is trying to get to the core, the root cause, and the data sets she needs. And so that is a good force in today's operating world. So highlight that in your CVs as well.
Thanks, Rob. And if there was a specific line that you've covered around the role of data and transforming the value of that data, Preetha, and then maybe linking that to quality outcomes, what would be a good thing for Manoj to focus in on, which would be helpful to you and your team combining those two?
Consumer
So, i.e.,
experience.
care minutes management, or take an example. But what's something live right now where practical, where you would love to have people skilled more in this translation area of technology to quality?
Looking at technology, as in looking at data specifically around incident management, is I think something that
Yes.
it just happens so much that the data just gets lost. But I like to look at if a resident is having multiple falls, for example. Why are they falling? What time are they falling? Is there a pattern in that data? And I think I feel like our care staff and the staff who are working on the floor level have that information in their fingertips. I look at the data to find a pattern. If I go speak to a carer working on the floor, they can actually explain to me and say, this person always falls at this time because of this. So I think there's a lot of information and very useful, powerful information that our care staff and nurses can actually give us, so that we can improve the system, so improve the care of a resident as well. And also a lot of the data comes back down to how well do we know our residents, and being able to connect those dots. So what is something unique that we know about a resident? What is a challenge that a resident is going through that we do not know about? Because that also always mostly helps us to link back to the data, to look at incident management, or even call bells is also a data that we look at. So are they ringing the call bell for a specific reason at a specific time on a daily basis? And same thing, our carers would be able to answer those questions. Our nurses can tell us a story around that as well.
That's a great practical example. I know that we have a question that we all want to know the answer to, which is, what's it like to work for Elder Bloom?
Elder Bloom is a small community-based organization. Yes. We're a very close-knit family, so it's really nice to work with a group of people who we all know each other. It's very rewarding in that sense. And also working in Elder Bloom looks like being able to have those interactions and connections with perhaps your nurses, your line managers very effectively, because we are all closely located as well. The corporate office is just located next to our aged care facilities. So the support team, or the team that supports the homes to be able to do their jobs, are just there. So that really, compared to perhaps larger organizations who are widely spaced, where a time takes for you to get your support, it doesn't work that way. We're there to help. And a lot of work is happening, specifically in the quality and operations space, around improving our systems, implementing new systems, and also building our current processes. So you have a voice there, and we do always listen to what our staff have to say before we are changing a process. So I think in terms of being heard and having a voice, it's also very exciting in Elder Bloom. We are making lots of changes at the moment, so it's a really good time and interesting time to join Elder Bloom, to be part of the journey.
It sounds like the place to work, and no doubt elders bloom there, and no doubt staff and team bloom there too, which is fantastic. And I really appreciate you entertaining, well, not entertaining, but hearing Manoj's very real questions about, he genuinely wants to enter the industry. And if we may be so bold, could he even, it is all about connections, Preetha. If Manoj was to write a professional introductory letter and take on board the suggestions that you made, would you be happy to receive an email from him just as a follow-up, or be able to refer him to one of your colleagues that would be best positioned?
Absolutely. I'll refer him to our HR officer, Disha. She'll be able to support him through.
Hi, Disha. We
There we
look
go.
forward to being able to connect with you and the friendly people at Elder Bloom. Ant did have a question.
I got
We
one
want
too.
to know...
When is your carpool karaoke going to start too? Because I feel like we're almost there, ready for the tunes to come on.
Now we're getting into the good stuff right now. They say the neon lights are bright on Broadway. Everybody now. So Hannah Tran has been watching, and she has a question for you, Preetha. I'm about to read it out, Ant, if you bring that back. I work as a quality support officer with Preetha. Oh, there you go. So I have 3 questions, only 3.
That's not much.
What skills should a quality RN prioritise to strengthen, to be a better support to the residents and the team in this space? We'll go easy. That's a good question to start with. A quality RN, what should they prioritise to strengthen, to be a better support?
I think a quality RN should strengthen being able to look at the home's performance or the services performance from an objective view. So looking at the data, again, it's always starting there. And being able to listen to the nurses or the manager's concerns in why the data looks like why it does. And then once doing that, being able to be objective, to provide the advice to the managers on what we can do to make things better for our residents and for our staff as well. So being able to connect the dots and then explaining that as a story to our managers so that they can see it from the quality perspective, and then not leaving it there, but also providing support and suggestions to improve, to help. And sometimes that looks like hands-on support as well. But that's what I would prioritize. It is to be able to effectively communicate to them what we see so that they can come on that journey with us as well. Because when you are busy with the day-to-day operations and you just have so much to do, you don't have that headspace to look back and think and join the dots and look at different perspectives.
I've got to say, I'm so impressed with Disha, your colleague. She's already responded with a very warm hi, and we have a open door for Manoj to send an application. So this is happening. Real world outcomes on all things aged care. Thank you for arranging that, Preetha. And we have a second question of 3, and that is, what is your advice on the pathway of becoming a quality manager when one is already working in the quality space?
Well, before you jump into that, I can answer part of that question.
Yes, please, Ed.
Preetha is actually looking for a clinical quality governance coordinator. So the pathway to becoming a quality manager is first applying for that role, either sending your CV to me or to Preetha. And that's the first step into being a quality manager. But I'm sure Preetha's got a more detailed answer.
It was wide open, Ed. You had to go there.
No, absolutely. I think moving from just being in the quality team to leading a quality team, really, it's about experience and how much of industry knowledge and regulatory knowledge you have in your experience as well. Being able to look at governance for an organization. So quality and governance works very closely with each other, and being able to see how is the organization being governed. How are we performing as an organization? Where our risks are as an organization? Where are we performing okay? What's our risk mitigation strategies? So it's just taking that quality a one notch further to look at organizational risks, organizational systems, and then you start growing in your pathway to be a quality manager, and it all starts there.
And we do have a third question, but Rob, I know this is a passion area for you. Data meets governance. Do you have anything to sort of add there?
Well, absolutely. I mean, I think if you think of the the world we're in now with a new technology being AI, still a lot of HI, human intelligence out there, but this is where a lot of those worlds can be greatly impacted, and just by the way AI can take all of that rich data and synthesize it and bring it up to those personas like Preetha to really become a live decision support, even run scenarios. I mean, right now the war is being run through scenarios being built off of data and AI, and that's how they're calculating and putting scenarios in place and impacts of the economic and the cost and all aspects of it. So I see great improvements happening with how AI can support the vast amount of data and the reporting of that data back to government so they can see it.
If we can harness the good of AI, and obviously, so that's a great thing to think about.
That's a
Scenario
good side of
planning.
it. Yes.
Question
for every good,
three.
there's an offset.
Yeah. So, Hannah, you're great with the questions. Obviously, very engaged listener, Hannah. Reflective of the culture there at Elder Bloom, very, caring about the good questions being asked to help others. Working in aged care for a few years, I've learnt that looking after your well-being, both mentally and physically, is so significant. We sometimes underlook. Yes. What are and
I think it
what
got cut off there, but I'm guessing she's going to ask, what are your strategies, or how do you look after yourself?
Yeah.
I agree. Working in aged care is a challenge, and it's really important to look after our mental health and physical health as well. I am a dancer, so I look at dancing. Yes, yeah. I've been a dancer since I was young, and I professionally do it as well, and that is my go-to place. I make sure I do it regularly.
Do you perform, or is this just something for yourself?
No, we do perform. I am.
All right.
Part of
When's your next show? Let's get some tickets out there.
Tell us more, Preetha. What's your background, and what's your ideal show that you would dance in?
It's traditional Indian dancing. So I do lots of we do lots of events. So weddings, hands nights, celebrations, harmony days, community events as well. So we do lots of performance there. Yeah, and movement is so important with looking after mental health as well. That's been something that's been that I go to since I was a kid, and I've grown up as a dancer too. So that's what I do. I think everyone needs something outside of work to have as a space to enjoy as a hobby. So whatever works for anyone, but I think we all need something.
We call it a happy place. If you've watched Happy Gilmore, it's about finding that happy place. But
Grandma's house, yes.
Tell us if people would like to. I mean, we should do a shameless plug here. I mean, if you're available to create, enjoyment through dance, and you're doing all of these different functions, where can people find you and your colleagues?
For dance?
Yeah, it sounds like there'd be a few people in aged care that would quite enjoy either they're having a function and they'd love a professional dancer group like yourselves, or, what would you in?
We are called Tara Entertainment. You can find us on Google.
Okay. Very
Tara
cool.
Entertainment. Let's bring that to aged care too. Can we get the residents in on this, Tara Entertainment?
Yeah, absolutely, and I think a part that we've explored as well in that space is armchair travel, and we've done armchair travel to different countries. So to India is a common example, and that's where the residents get to see a live Indian performance or a Bollywood performance as they travel in their armchair to India.
Wow,
that's
fantastic.
brilliant.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
maybe that's something the VR side
Yeah.
of it we could also experience too. Because Owen, one of the
yes.
panelists and gentlemen you work with, he does a lot of virtual reality and bringing those experiences to residents, and everything from helping them deal with some post-traumatic stress, other aspects, or just escapism. And that's a fantastic initiative. You should put that up for better practice and better, some of the other industry awards. Because those are great initiatives for the residents.
So we
out
do
there.
have a good friend, Shane at Neurons VR, and I don't know if Elder Bloom currently use or do you use VR as one of your armchair or de-escalation approaches? So when we're embracing technology, is VR part of the solution mix there at Elder Bloom?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
And take us inside. So, say the visit to India is starting. What could people expect?
So for VR, for example, if we were doing something that is an armchair travel, you can. It's about a cultural experience for our residents as well. So, for example, what it looks like, what it feels like.
Yes.
People's talking, how what outfits they wear, what are they dressed up like.
So take us inside the sights and sounds, Preetha. What do we smell? What do we see? What do we hear? A genuine
I'll
Indian.
I'll try. I think lots of colors, cultural outfits.
Yes.
And very noisy, and lots of Bollywood music. Upbeats, fun beats, very fun. Yeah. Good food, street food, and just people talking to each other. It's just everyone talks to everyone. It's just a very very friendly environment, and
cool.
and very busy. Yeah, so I think it's like going on a holiday from your own seat.
So there's an energy
I'd
to
love
India.
to see.
Yeah.
But there's also, I imagine what those residents would be, because that is technology that they would not have experienced or known existed. And I remember when I first put on the the Apple VR and watched like a performance of a concert, and it was insane. And I mean, we've been exposed to a lot of technology, and I can't imagine that feeling that would have been transformative. I would love to just see their faces and debrief with them after those experiences. That's great.
Yeah. And so many of them have, from my experience, that was their first time. So perhaps a few of them never got to travel to those parts of the world before. So you could do it with any country, and I think it's something nice to be able to offer at that stage in their life as well, because so much of the world that we have seen and haven't seen.
One other question. Ant would like to know, or one of our listeners would like to know, our engaged listeners, what's Rory like to work?
Our carpool karaoke, I think, just hit. We're losing you, Owen, on that elements there. But no, Preetha, thank you so much for the time and sharing a lot about that. The important role you're carrying out there. Really giving that perspective to the audience is both important, because everyone is talking about the standards, but to be holding that together within an organization of any size is a monumental weight. So we applaud you, and we support you on that journey, and certainly wish you the best as you transform the Elder Bloom services into the new standards and beyond. So well done to you. Well, Ant, I think this is your cue. I wanted to just wish everyone a great weekend, and take us home, Owen and Ant. And Owen, if you can,
before we go, Rob, sorry, I was here.
I am
trying to get a word in while I muted myself, and I'm trying to get a word in, and no one's listening because no one can hear me. I do want to ask, what is Rory like to work for? Because he is a first-time CEO, And from my interview with him on the Pioneers in Aged Care podcast, it really does sound like he's kicking goals, and the Elder Bloom has an amazing future ahead. And so answer that question, and also answer Maria Jacobs Dimitriadis. She's got a question here, and she's curious on your thoughts on delivering spiritual care as part of your quality clinical care. So a few words about Rory first, and then we'll tackle Maria's question, and then we're out.
Yeah, no, it's excellent working with Rory. He's definitely kicking goals, and he's someone who is willing to try new things and is very supportive as well as to myself as a first-time executive. So we've got a long way to go at Elder Bloom, and we're really excited and looking forward to everything as an executive team and as an organization. Maria, I think spiritual care is so important. It's something that we don't do well enough in the industry yet. My thoughts around it is it plays a huge component in providing good quality care. I think it comes with first understanding what our residents' spiritual needs are, and those are different from religious needs, and then being able to address that and being able to support and provide them the care that they need as well. So love your question, but I think that's a place that as an industry we can explore more on and definitely do better in.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Preetha. Owen, you're on mute if you want to wrap us up.
Sure. Well, look, Preetha, thank you for the sights and sounds of India. Thank you for taking us inside your love of dance as a great mental health and well-being choice, and that and it makes us all think about the fact that we all need our happy place. We all need our downtime to recharge. I love that you've shared that you've worked at the big end of aged care, but you've also worked with Elder Bloom, and you love the fact that you've got a responsive culture, where people really own the outcomes, and just love your passion for data and seeking what the next best thing is always for your residents. So we've definitely learned a lot about the amazing people at Elder Bloom, and really excited for your journey that you're going on with Rory in that next chapter. We'd love to have you come back and talk to us more about that maybe in 6 months' time and how that's all played out. Thank you to everyone listening. As we always say on all things aged care, we're building a community of purpose where everyone has a voice, and we genuinely want to hear the problems, the challenges, the issues, and we want to align where we can, and even connect people and opportunities like Manoj. Anything could happen here at All Things Aged Care, so tune in for our next exciting episode next week. We have Paul Sadler and we have Kathy Eager on the CHSP Alliance and the invaluable work that they're doing to create change and be advocates for those who need a voice most right now. We just had a big win last week with the Minister, Mark Butler, announcing the changes to personal care subsidy and funding, with $3 billion announced. People don't have to make the very hard choice of whether or not they shower or fill their fridge, which should have never been a situation with the home care side. And that was announced at the Support at Home conference. So we're trying to do everything we can to engage with the people that are making things happen in aged care, and you're definitely one of them, Preetha. So thank you for your passion for quality and all that you're doing to make aged care better. And as we say on All Things Aged Care, all for one and one for all things
Aged
aged care.
All right. See you guys.